The morning the HOA tried to fine me for fishing was the morning they accidentally handed me the best investment opportunity of my life. It started quietly. Just me, a folding chair, a thermos of tea, and a fishing rod resting over the calm blue surface of Willow Creek Lake. The water shimmered like glass. Birds skimmed across the surface. It was peaceful, the kind of peaceful that makes you forget the world exists. And then Karen showed up. Her real name was Denise Porter, but nobody in Willow Creek used it anymore. She marched down the shoreline in heels like she was inspecting a crime scene, clipboard pressed against her chest, sunglasses reflecting pure judgment. "You can't fish here," she announced. I didn't even turn around. "Morning to you too. This is HOA property," she snapped. "Recreational use requires a permit. You're in violation of Community Regulation 14B. I reeled in my line slowly. "I own the house across the street. That doesn't grant lake privileges. Been fishing here for 8 years. Rules changed last week." That made me turn. Without notice, she flipped a page. "You were notified. The email was sent." "I don't read HOA emails," I said honestly. Her smile tightened. "Then you should start. You're being fined $500. I laughed. That's when she realized I wasn't intimidated. "You can't fine me for sitting on public shoreline." Her voice sharpened. "The lake is private." And that was the moment everything changed. Private. That word stuck in my head like a hook. Because I knew something about Willow Creek Lake that most residents didn't. It wasn't owned by the HOA. It was leased. And leases can expire. 2 days later, I walked into the county land office. A board clerk slid a file toward me. "Willow Creek water parcel, 42 acres, currently under management lease. Who owns it?" "Estate trust. Original developer passed away. Property held for tax purposes." I tapped the paper. "Is it for sale?" She blinked. "Everything is for sale." By Friday, I had the number of the trustee managing the estate. By Monday, I made an offer. By Wednesday, we had a deal. The price, less than 3 luxury homes in that neighborhood. The HOA had been paying annual lease fees for decades. They assumed it would always remain that way. They never imagined someone would buy the lake itself. 2 weeks later, I stood on the same shoreline with a new folding chair, same fishing rod, same thermos of tea. This time, I also had a framed document resting beside me. Property deed. And right on schedule, Denise appeared. "You were in violation again." I handed her the document. She read the first line. Then the second. Then she went very, very quiet. "Ownership transferred," she whispered. "Morning," I said pleasantly. "You bought the lake." "Sure did." Her voice cracked. "You can't do that." "I just did." She tried to regain control. "The HOA maintains recreational authority. Lease expired yesterday." Her face drained of color. "You're trespassing," I added gently. "Private property now." For the first time since I'd known her, Denise Porter had nothing to say. She walked away without another word. But I wasn't done. "See, a deal, revenge isn't about anger. It's about timing." The following Saturday, I put up a sign at the main entrance. "Private lake. Picnic event today. Residents welcome except HOA board members." I rented tables, grills, and canopies. Families showed up cautiously at first, unsure if it was real. Then the music started. Kids ran along the shoreline. People fished freely. Someone brought a speaker. Someone else brought homemade barbecue. For years, the HOA had restricted access, charged permits, and issued fines for unauthorized recreation. Now the lake belonged to everyone, except the people who weaponized it. Around noon, Denise arrived with 2 board members. They stopped at the boundary rope I'd installed. "You cannot exclude us," she demanded. I handed her a printed notice. "Private event. Owner discretion." Her voice trembled. "We represent the community." "No," I said calmly. "You represent rules. I represent ownership." One board member tried to step past the rope. Security politely escorted him out. Yes, I hired security. Worth every rupee. The HOA emergency meeting happened that night. Residents attended in record numbers. People who had quietly paid fines for years finally spoke up. One man described being charged for launching a kayak. A mother talked about her children being removed from the shoreline. An elderly couple revealed they were fined for feeding ducks. The board tried to maintain authority. But authority without control is just noise. And they no longer controlled the lake. 3 days later, I received a letter. The HOA wanted to negotiate. They requested a new lease agreement. I invited them to my porch. Denise arrived with a lawyer and a stack of papers. She didn't sit until I did. "How much?" she asked. I poured tea slowly. "For what?" "To restore community access." I slid a document across the table. "New terms for lake access." She read silently. Then her jaw tightened. "No fines for recreational use. No permit fees. Open access for residents. HOA oversight removed. And," she asked, "annual maintenance contribution from HOA." She looked up. "You're taking control." I already did. Her lawyer whispered something. She signed. Power shifts quietly when reality arrives. But the story didn't end there. Because ownership changes people, not me, them. Without control of the lake, the HOA began unraveling. Residents questioned other fines. Budgets were examined. Records surfaced. Maintenance fees didn't match expenses. Within 6 months, 3 board members resigned. Denise held on the longest. But power built on intimidation rarely survives transparency. The day she stepped down, the neighborhood felt lighter. 1 year later, Willow Creek Lake became something it had never been before. A community space. Not controlled, not monetized, not weaponized. Every summer, I hosted a lakeside picnic. No permits, no restrictions, just people. Fishing rods lined the shoreline again. Kids learned to cast their first lines. Neighbors who had barely spoken for years shared food under open canopies. And every time I sat in my folding chair, I remembered the day someone tried to fine me for fishing. Funny how things work. They wanted control of the lake. I gave them freedom from the HOA instead. The last time I saw Denise Porter, she was walking her dog along the public sidewalk. She stopped near the shoreline, watching families fish. For a moment, she looked like she wanted to say something. But she didn't. She just nodded once and kept walking. Sometimes the loudest victories are the quiet ones. And me, I still fish every morning. Same chair, same thermos, same peaceful water. Except now, when the sun rises over Willow Creek Lake, it rises over something simple. Ownership earned, control restored, and a reminder that sometimes the best response to a fine is buying the lake.